All right, come on in, everybody. Have a seat. If you haven't signed in, there's a sign-in sheet over here on the table. There's Ken Emery donated his equipment over here. It's in the tub. If you want to go through that, see if anything's your size. Or if you just want to ignore me, that's fine too. I'm used to being ignored. If we need more chairs, there's some more chairs over here against the wall. All right. We're going to go ahead and get started. So welcome everybody to our first meeting of the season. It's a great crowd. Glad to see everybody out here tonight. We got a fair amount of stuff to cover, so we're going to jump right in and get going. So if you don't know me, I'm Randy Hodges. I'm the Area Director President of CSFOA. And Kaylinda Bunnell right back here is the other Area Director, Vice President. So let's just jump in. We're going to do a few things and then get into the content here. So we're going to do a few introductions. We've got a number of new people here. I see a lot of their faces here tonight. So I'm going to have each one of the new people just kind of briefly introduce yourself. We'll go through the championship officials from last year. And then we have a rules quiz. Eric's put together a, 4 or 5 question rule quiz. So there'll be a QR code. Most of you have done this before. You scan it with your phone. It'll pull up a little quiz app on your phone and just do a little fun quiz. It's not graded or anything, so no pressure. And then videos. George has a couple of videos for us. Then we're going to do some scrimmage kick mechanics to get the season going. And then we'll do the 50-50 drawing at the end. So that's it. All right, introductions. Like I said, I'm Randy and Kaylinda. Other members of the board are all of your crew chiefs. So every one of you is on a crew. So you have a crew chief. That is those are all board positions. Dean Rook is back here. He's the secretary treasurer. And James, where's James? He's doing the 50-50. James back there is your member at large. So that's kind of our board for this year. Championship officials from last year. What's that? So last year, championship officials, we had Walt Cooper doing the A6 championship. Where's Walt? I saw him. Walt Cooper right back there. So Mark Bradley was the white hat for the 2A, and Brooks Riddlesberger. Mark's not here tonight. Brooks is right back here. Brooks on the 2A. And then 4A, we had Craig Cox, and he's here. Where's Craig? Craig back here. The 4A championship. Darren Alexander and Curtis Lambert. Darren moved this year, and so he's not back with us, and Curtis Lambert retired. And then in the 5A championship, we had Bob Pace. Bob is in the back. Some of you are on the crew. And Nathan McCrary right here. Another crew chief. So we're looking forward to getting a whole new batch of people in the championships again this year. So some of you are going to be on those championship crews. So looking forward to that. All right. New officials. I have 13. I think we have one more that's transferring in, but I've seen a bunch of the new officials tonight. So what I'd really like to have you guys do is just briefly introduce yourself, name where you're from, what you do for a living, and why you wanted to officiate football. So we'll start over here. There's a few new people over here, so we'll start with you.
My name is Clarence Wallace, originally from Denver. Just moved to the Springs about a year ago. Coaching football for approximately 16 years. Coming off coaching for 10 years coming back to officiating. I just love the game. So that's what I'm here.
He was on the dark side, and now he's come back to the light side. Where's Terry? Yeah, there's another one right there, Terry. He's back with us coming from the dark side. Thanks, Clarence. All right, right here.
Yeah, doing Dominic. I'm from Oklahoma, Georgia. I've been here for about 20 years since I got out of the military. I do patrolling compliance for the state, EPA, OSHA, and I always just wanted to be a referee, so finally got the email this year.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to scan here. What's that? Oh, yeah, right over here. Lily.
Almost got away.
Yeah, you did. You were ducking.
Hi, my name is Lily Chase, and I moved here January 2021 from San Diego, and I'm a retired police officer. I currently work for CSFOA as a financial crimes investigator and cryptocurrency investigator. And I want to officiate football because I actually worked chain crew in high school one season. Got tackled, and early had a blast. Last season I got to do flag football. I got to work down box for the championship, which was a highlight, and I want more of it, and I want this side of it as well. So thank you.
Okay, scanning. There we go, right there. Yep.
I'm David Temple. I moved here this past June from East Texas, and I officiate football there for 27 years, so basically I'm created for officiating. Retired teacher, so I'm getting all these sub-varsity games that start at 3 o'clock.
Nice. Perfect. All right. Welcome, David. All right, let's see. Right in the back. Bruce.
Bruce Hartley. I'm from Falcon, Colorado. I've lived here all my life. I also used to coach football for a long time. I have 2 kids in college and a 2-year-old, so I'm not going to be coaching for a while. So looking forward to what I can do to help the kids that we are coaching. Thank you.
All right. Yep.
My name's Eric Joseph, and I just moved here from Southern California, and I'm a 15-year veteran, and I'm a retired stockbroker this year.
All right, so you get all the sub-varsity games too. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, right here.
I'm Sarah McClendon. I grew up in Colorado Springs, and right now I'm in Kansas City. I'm a biologist with Bureau of Land Management, so we're both in Eastern Plains, Colorado. And I wanted to officiate because I've been playing for about 10 years now, and I kind of want to stay in the sport, but I want to step back. So I'm excited to keep going.
All right.
Yeah, my name is Ron Klein, originally from Michigan, moved here in 97. The military brought me here, retired from the military, and I still work for the government, and this will be my last year of working, so I decided to officiate football to keep me somewhat busy and somewhat in shape.
All right.
Hi everyone, I'm Josh Squires, originally from Detroit, Michigan. Just moved from Iowa City, Iowa in May. What do I do for a living? I work for the government as a transportation planner, and I want to officiate football because I enjoy puzzles and a lot of hard work. So, good opportunity.
All right.
My name's Brett Johnston. I was raised in Aurora. I'm a retired police officer from there. I currently run a barbecue business, officiating off and on for about 12, 13 years.
All right, are we gonna?
My name is Colin Deeds. I moved here from St. Cloud State University. I work in higher education. I've been here since October. This will be my first year officiating football in the spring.
All right. Tyrell.
Hi, my name is Tyrell Gomes. I've been officiating off and on since 2011. It's my second year here. I took a year off last year. Looking forward to getting back into it.
Did I miss anybody? We might have all of our new people. It's pretty close to it. All right, awesome. Well, that's the lifeblood of keeping this association going. So we love having you guys here, and we want to teach you and help you learn and get you integrated as quickly as possible, and have you on that board next year as championship officials. So, all right. So this is the AHA slide. So scan that QR code with your phone. Thanks to COVID, we all know how to scan QR codes now. Put your name in so we can recognize you. What organization? I haven't seen that. Is he getting run over? Pretty close. What's up?
Give it another 30 seconds or so. I've got 38 folks in, 39. While you're signing in, tonight's quiz is the kickoff for folks that have not used the AHA slide system before. So I'm not trying to trick anybody here. This is pretty straightforward tonight, and this is geared for everybody, returning officials, new officials. Pretty fair game here on these first 5 questions tonight. If you were here last year, I was promoted from quiz taker to quiz maker because people didn't want me clicking the buttons here anymore. So they've given me permission to put this together. Final call, we're at 50 and we'll go in about 10 seconds. All right, so remember answers that are correct get you points, and then it's also timed, so you want to be fastest at getting it correct. 5 questions, and here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I got 8 seconds to go if you haven't answered. All right, so time's up there. Results showing up. 46 correct. Wings move into the goal line immediately inside that 5 at the snap. There's our leaderboard. Nick on the lead right now. All right.
Next question.
He's got a date.
This is what we get with spotty cell phone service. All right, here we go.
There it goes. Oh, it's not. Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Here's two. All right. 10 seconds to go for your foul for encroachment.
He's a lot more generous with the time than I was.
Can you make up the overall test next year?
Yeah.
Yes. Next week's quiz is not as straightforward. All right, foul for encroachment, dead ball, foul. So again, this is high school, and I think high school rules here, so it'll be a dead ball foul if you have that jump into the neutral zone. Very good. All right, Nick's still holding a lead. All right, here we go.
You don't have a cell plan?
Got one bar.
One bar. Dang it.
You must have 18.
Is this roof built with cement?
Yeah, it's a concrete bunker. Yeah.
Do I have Let's get try and go outside. Let's go.
Question five. Some of you fast clickers.
That's what I get for going for time.
See if Nick's still in the lead now.
It's a trick question there, right? So free kick is 40 for K, and then it's also 20 for your safety.
Okay, I just went into the lead, so that's the end of the quiz. Is there a way to go backwards?
It did say question 5.
Because that did say question 5.
It did say question
Okay.
5.
All right.
We'll put it on Wi-Fi next go around.
Yeah, we
anyway,
will.
so that's your AHA quiz warm up, and then we're throwing trick questions in for next go around. So prize and things at next meeting for those that take care of that.
Somebody signed in as me. That's great. Perfect. All right. All right, so George has some videos for us. Going to go through some plays.
Okay. So I picked out 4 videos. They're out of the ordinary stuff. And for the first one, we are going to have a guest narrator. Mr. Cox, would you please come up? Yeah. So as he's walking up, he is now thinking what kind of play this is going to be. We want to be careful here. We're going to focus on the new officials because the rest of you have seen plays of this nature before. So I need a new official to volunteer. All right. And then we need a second new official to be his consultant.
I don't know what.
All right.
Okay?
This could go really bad.
All right. So you two get together where you can chat and give a combined answer.
Okay.
Okay? And if you would step out of the way so that you don't block the video. I'm going to turn it over to Craig and let the video roll. kickoff, right to left. Okay, so comments from our new officials. What, if anything, is wrong with this play?
Well, first off, when they kicked it, they had players that were forward of the kicker.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. That's not what this video
is. Baby steps.
What I'm noticing here is the ball goes into the across the plane of the goal line.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking automatically touchback. But then I remembered, okay, so who knocked it in? But it should just be touchback.
Yeah, and there's a reason I'm up here, but we won't go into that. So, it was a kicking play. Never possessed by anybody. So he's correct. It crossed the goal line, and instead of the touchdown as the official's calling here, it should be, I mean, it's a dead ball at that point. So yeah, it's a touchback. So he's exactly correct on that. So no matter how many people touched it, muffed it, as it's bouncing down the field, it's a kick that was never possessed, crossing the goal line, dead ball no matter what the situation. Punt, kickoff, whichever. So he got it wrong, he got it right.
You did a great job.
Yes.
This clip is straight from Billy Bob Bid County.
So then the signal for touchback is this, right?
The NFL.
Yeah, that's the NFL. You'll see people do that. It's up here. It's just like a fair catch in high school. Good.
Okay, thank you, Craig. Video number 2, please. Okay, this is an unusual variation of a swinging gate.
Always a play clock in there.
As long as the quiz.
Okay, there are multiple things wrong with this clip. What's one?
The snapper is not facing the goal line of the opponents.
Okay, the snapper was not facing the goal line. What else?
Players did not go beyond the.
You have to raise your hand and be recognized, please. Yes.
You had people forward of the line of scrimmage.
I don't know if anybody was.
The guy right there is already forward.
Yeah, he might be. It's very deceiving because you have an angle, so that's not a good angle to make that call. And this official down here did not flag it. In fact, nobody flagged it. But that could be something questionable. What else? Who's next?
Right, because he just goes up there and snaps his.
Yes, Nathan.
It's definitely a legal formation.
Definitely an illegal formation. I don't know that they, looks, I don't know. It's only 4 in the backfield. I don't know how many's on the line, but the linemen are not facing their opponent's goal line. So that's a totally illegal formation. What else?
No pause.
Yes.
It looks like the snap is in one constant motion.
Very good. That's really what this clip is about. That snap, it's close, but it's probably illegal. Now, it doesn't have to be between the snapper's leg. That's not a rule. But it has to be one continuous motion, and it looks like he picks it up and throws it underhanded. So go ahead and run it again and take a look at all those things, and then we'll be done with this one.
It's also not set for a full second. It's technical.
That was a 1 second.
Can I ask you a question, George?
Yeah.
So, since it's first down, and they have a numbering exception as the snapper, is that legal to have a 5 as the snapper? I thought he had
No,
to
that's
be
another
between the
thing.
ends.
You can't have, well, it's not a scrimmage kick formation
Right.
anyway, so, like I said, there's multiple things wrong with this.
Well, wait a minute. Who says it's fine?
DJ says. Who said it was fine?
Why is that fine?
If they still have 5.
If they still have the 5.
79 on the line.
It doesn't
Oh,
matter.
yeah, he's right. If they have, in this mess here, if they have 5 numbered 50 to 79, the snapper's on the end of the line, so the snapper can have an eligible number and be eligible.
Okay.
Okay? Now, there's one, yes, Kaylin.
So, deception, like, would you call this deception and give it an unsportsmanlike?
No, I would call this incompetence. Okay, now, there's another thing about this video that's unique. Well, let me just cover this. One more unique thing. The referee wrote to his mother after the game and said that he had a game when the stands were packed. Yes, Mike.
I was just wondering what the signal for incompetence.
The what?
The signal for incompetence.
It's this.
All right, clip number 3. This is a one-of-a-kind clip here. We have another swinging gate formation. Okay, the flag was because there were only 4 people on the line, numbered 50 to 79.
Nice.
No, you don't have to try to do it, we've checked it out. So watch when the referee explains to the player what was wrong. He is number 96. He screwed up. He was supposed to be wearing number 70 and he forgot to change his jersey.
But even if he had, you can't use the number exception. They're not in a scrimmage kick formation. He was only 5 yards back, right?
He was on the line, on the left side.
It's not a
No,
scrimmage
no,
kick
no,
formation
it's-
if you have somebody down to hold the ball for a place kick that.
Right, you can't use the number,
Or somebody
it's
10 yards back, so it's not a scrimmage kick
It's
formation.
not a scrimmage kick formation, so they have to have the 5
Right,
numbered
you can't use the
50
number
to
exception
79. And they didn't because he was wearing the wrong jersey. Okay? Yes.
Why is that not a legal scrimmage kick formation?
10 yards.
Because there's no one 10 yards back. What are the 2 criteria for a scrimmage kick formation? One is to have a player 10 yards back with nobody in position to receive a hand-to-hand snap. And the other one is to have a holder with a knee on the ground at least 7 yards back and a kicker behind him. They have neither of those. Okay, last clip. Okay, go ahead and go back to the beginning and freeze it. Freeze it, okay. So number 5 started from a position on the line and he shifted. Is that a legal shift?
Yes.
Yes, that is a legal shift. Go ahead and play it again.
Now you got 2 moving, so you basically.
That's
They're
the shift.
set, there's only 4 in the backfield, they're set.
We counting that as a second?
So what's wrong with this play?
It's two shifts in the same place.
5 is ineligible.
He's an eligible proposition.
So you have nobody down at the bottom.
Number 5, after he shifted, he was covered, and he went downfield. That's correct. What else?
One thing on the ball is he got a 79 number on his
What?
I just saw his number on his jersey.
Yes. I didn't hear that.
Sorry, I feel like the linemen are more than 2 yards downfield for the passes.
Oh, that's the least of our worries. There's something else really wrong with this
Is the
play.
player in the way back allowed to be that far back?
Hey, George, someone over here earlier said ineligible by position.
Who said that?
David.
Did you say ineligible by position?
He's an eligible opposition because he was covered when the center put his hand on the ball.
Excellent. Go back to
Covering
the beginning.
extension doesn't matter anymore. He's an eligible
Go back to the
opposition.
beginning.
He's an eligible.
Okay, so this guy here, the snapper has touched the ball, so those positions are locked. It doesn't matter what his number is. He is ineligible in the initial formation, and when he shifts, he changed him from an ineligible position to an eligible position, but he remains ineligible, and he's the guy that caught the pass. Okay? Now, how many times will you see this? Probably not. Okay? But that's the rule, yes. Anything else?
But isn't this bottom guy when he moves up and he's covered? He's also an ineligible receiver downfield because he's covered by the
Yeah, because if he goes to an eligible position, he's okay, but he went to an ineligible position. Now, despite all that, there is nothing wrong with the legality of the formation. The formation is legal. So if they do all this stuff here and then they run the ball, there is no foul. What created the foul was the fact that there was a forward pass that crossed the neutral zone. That's what created the foul, because you ended up with 2 ineligibles. Anything else? Okay, any other rules questions while I'm up here?
I just had a question about on the shift. I mean, the other things notwithstanding, the receiver that he moved out to the end of the line, he was behind him, not by much, but how much further back does he have to be?
That would make him 5 in the backfield if he was back. That would put 5 in the backfield if he was back.
Okay.
So we can
But you
answer
said
that
I'm
question.
just talking about
We
whether he was
can
covered,
pick out.
not anything else.
Here is our official right here. So we have to watch his signals to see what they rule. Okay? But yes, that is how far he has to be back is a judgment call.
Well, even if he was a little bit back, then it would be a legal formation because 5.
I understand that it would cause another problem. I'm just saying as far as what would make him not covered. That's all I was asking.
Nathan?
So in this case, you've got illegal touching and ineligible, but it's 4th down, so the loss of down doesn't matter.
Yeah, the law.
No, loss of down.
Loss of down matters on 4th down, because it would give the ball to Team B.
It's 5 yards.
Okay, anything else? Yes?
Since he started his motion on the line of scrimmage, doesn't he have to go back 5 yards?
If he's in motion at the snap, he has to be 5 yards back. But he's not in motion, he's shifted. Okay?
If he stayed in motion, he'd have to go 5 yards backward to be legal.
Okay.
To still be in motion.
But by getting set, that no longer matters.
Anything else?
All right, thank you. Good stuff. All right, so now we have a presentation on kick mechanics, and you know, this is one of the things where you see this stuff every game, and we see film of this every game, and we don't always have the best mechanics when we are covering kicks. So I'm going to go through some slides where we just kind of progress through and what the keys are and where each position's eyes should be. And then we have a couple of videos to look at where we can see where these mechanics are not happening. As we watch this, I mean, everybody in here works different positions, so kind of pay attention to your position and what the slides say. The slides don't talk about every position on every slide, but it'll kind of progress through. So I may not cover everything. It's not intended to necessarily thoroughly cover every single thing, but I just want to go through this, and this is just a normal punt, scrimmage kick, just one possible scenario, and one possible formation. So this is not an end-all be-all, but just to kind of get everybody acclimated as to where you're supposed to be, where your eyes are supposed to be, and what you're supposed to be doing at each position during a scrimmage kick. So there's a few intervals that we're concerned about. One is the pre-snap, then we're at the snap, and then we're between the kick and the catch, and then we have a catch. And the main focus that I'm going to talk about tonight is eye discipline. It's eye discipline and mechanics of where each position should be. So we're just going to walk through some slides that kind of transition through a kick scenario. So just to start off, referee about 5 yards outside the kicker and roughly the same distance behind the kicker. So you're about 5 out and 5 wide. It could be on either side of the kicker. That's kind of a preference thing. But a lot of people, most people like to stand on the side where they're going to see the kicker's leg. Any referees that would disagree with any of that?
I wouldn't say disagree. I always go on the wide side of the field, so I have a better angle towards the sideline.
Okay.
For a kick going out of bounds.
Okay. So you would go toward where you have more room to the sideline.
Right.
So because you're going to get wider, or
no. Just
okay.
The ball's more likely to go out of bounds on the side that's narrower.
Okay.
So it gives me the angle to see where the ball goes out of bounds.
Okay. Umpire. This is one of the things, especially in the video. I don't think the umpires necessarily a lot of times line up in the right spot. So we want you don't have line of scrimmage on this at all. So we want you to back off and get wide, so that the players don't have to run through you. A lot of times they will end up running through you anyway, but get farther back than you normally would be, and get a little wider than you normally would be to sort of stay out of the path. Then you're gonna look through, just like you would on a normal scrimmage play. Look through that line from the guard all the way out to that tackle on the side that the R is on. The back judge 3 to 5 yards behind the deepest receiver, and then wide enough so you can see the receiver's hands, and you're going to be inside the hash marks. I'll just add to this that if you're going to line up inside the 10-yard line, you probably should be at the goal line and stay at the goal line until you know it's not threatened. I see a lot of times where a back judge might line up at the 8, and then the ball bounces and they're having to chase the ball back towards the goal line. I think it's better to probably get a little deeper on that, and then come out after the ball, after you know that goal line is not threatened with the ball. Because what do we have if that kick goes in the end zone? Touchback, right? So if it's muffed or if it just bounces and it goes in the end zone, we don't want to be chasing that ball. Any back judges that would have anything to add to that initial position?
I have a question. So Tim, if the R was to be on the wide side, you'd want your umpire opposite then?
Yeah, we should be opposite that where the ball is.
Okay. All right, next.
Sorry, that's on me.
Yeah, that next is you.
Tim's like,
So pre-snap keys are basically the same thing they're going to be for any other play. You're assuming they're a scrimmage kick formation, but that may not be what they do. They may be doing a regular play. So just pretty much the same pre-snap keys that you would have on any other play. So why is the back judge keying on the one receiver on the line judge side? That's a strong side, right? Because it's a balanced formation. You have two receivers on each side, so when we're balanced, that back judge is going to the line judge side, right? Okay. And then the line judge obviously has the two receiver and the tackle on his side, and then the head linesman has the one and the two on his side in that tackle. All right. Okay, so at the snap, you are reading your primary key to determine the type of play, because again, they're in scrimmage kick formation. That doesn't mean they're going to kick. All right, so if you see linemen start to run downfield, especially those tackles, you got a possibility that they're doing a play other than a scrimmage kick, because those tackles most of the time are not going to start running downfield or blocking straight ahead. They're going to back up like they would in a pass block situation. So pay attention to those keys just like you would on any other play. Wings, don't watch the punter catch the snap. And this is something I used to do. I used to peek into the backfield and just make sure that punter received the snap. We don't need to do that. Just watch your keys and keep your eyes out of the backfield. We're going to talk about you can peek, but don't watch the flight of the ball and watch that snap get back to the punter. All right. Umpire, you're responsible for the initial action on the snapper. So in a formation where they're in a kick formation, in a scrimmage kick formation, that snapper has protection. So we need to make sure that someone's not charging directly into that snapper, right? What if a guy runs through the gap and contacts the snapper? Is that a foul? Nope. No, it's not a foul. Okay, and you'll hear coaches complain about that all the time. A guy will try and shoot the gap. He'll get shoved into his center. The center gets knocked over. He's hitting my snapper. No, it's a charge directly into that snapper. So make sure we're keeping an eye on that. So the snap to the kicker is probably just under a second. So there's not much time here for this thing to start going. All right. So as the snap happens and the ball is traveling back to the punter, we want the line judge to start downfield. Okay, we see a lot of situations where that line judge does not start downfield. He watches the snap go to the punter, watches the punter, waits till he kicks it, and then he starts running. Okay, as a line judge, that is not the right mechanic. Okay, we want, as the snap happens, we want the line judge to start downfield. All right? The head linesman is staying on the line of scrimmage. And he is watching the line of scrimmage. There's no umpire for the line of scrimmage on a scrimmage kick play. All right? So he's got that line of scrimmage. Why is it important? Somebody raise their hand and tell me why it's important that head linesman has charge of that line of scrimmage.
So if you know if the ball crosses the neutral zone.
Okay, we want to know if the ball crosses the neutral zone. That's one thing. What else?
The play has to come back or whatever.
Say it again.
If the play has to come back, or what's happening?
Okay, someone else. Yeah.
If they pass it, make sure the lineman didn't go down.
Okay. So yeah, you've got ineligibles. if they end up passing it, most likely you're going to have ineligibles downfield. But so why are we keeping the head linesman on the line of scrimmage? Nathan.
To verify that the kick is crossed the line and doesn't come back.
So why is it important if the ball comes back?
Because if it comes back behind the line of scrimmage, then anybody, K or R, can pick it up and advance the ball.
Right. So the primary reason that we have to have the head linesman stay on the line, even if the ball goes beyond the line of scrimmage on the kick, if the wind blows it back, if it hits the ground and bounces back, if it hits an R player and bounces back, and it's picked up behind the neutral zone, it can be advanced by K. That's the only time it can be advanced by a K player. So if it's picked up right at the neutral zone, and we've got film of the ball getting picked up right near the line of scrimmage, and the head linesman had gone down about 2 yards. So the integrity of that spot where he picks it up is compromised because the head linesman wasn't on the line of scrimmage. All right, so we've got to have that head linesman stay on the line until you see the ball go across the neutral zone and you know it's not coming back. All right?
Is so the headline, they're also going to be in charge of goal line because they have the whole line.
We're going to cover that, holdings and all that kind of stuff. The primary reason is we want to know if K picks the ball up behind the neutral zone after the ball's kicked. Because if it is, then they can advance it. If they pick it up beyond, then it's dead where they possess it. Right?
And it's in or behind?
In or behind the neutral zone. Right. So what's the neutral zone? Length of the football, right? There's two lines of scrimmage. There's an offensive line of scrimmage and a defensive line of scrimmage. The area in between is the length of the football. That's the neutral zone. So if it's picked up right in that neutral zone, then it could be advanced. Okay? All right. Umpire responsible for the blocks by the snapper, the guards, and the tackle on the R side. So this is pretty much like a normal scrimmage play, looking through all those linemen and looking at those blocks. You're looking for holds, takedowns, face masks. We got a great film of James Bonnell throwing a flag on a guy running through the thing and just gets thrown to the ground by his face mask, and he throws the flag on that. But that's the umpire's primary responsibility right at this point. Kicker possession of the kick, 1 to 1.5 seconds. So from the snap to when he kicks the ball is about 1 to 2 seconds. All right? So all this is happening pretty quickly. All right, so the referee is observing the initial block by the opposite tackle. Again, just like a normal scrimmage play. But then his eyes have to shift from that initial block on that tackle on the far side to the backs in the backfield that are protecting the punter. So he's got to make sure that all those blocks are legal. The most common things you're going to see in that are blocks below the waist or holds or things like that, to where they're trying to keep those edge rushers or maybe somebody in the middle from getting in to block the punt. So that R has a lot of things to do, right? You know, all that action is going to converge right on that kicker almost every time. So there's a ton of stuff. Stay far enough away to where you don't get too narrow of a focus on that, and you can sort of have a wide view. Now, one of the things that I have seen happen as a white hat a number of times, and a lot of you white hat more than I do, but you see a guy get blocked, and that defender then gets blocked into the punter, and you're trying to figure all that out. You know, it's going full speed. You're trying to figure out, did that defender hit him, or was he pushed into him? You know, did he hit his kicking leg? You know, there's all kinds of stuff that's going on. So that's a real challenge on those. And you know, I would just say if in question, we want to protect that punter and have roughing. But if you definitely see a blocker block a guy and he blocks him into that kicker, then there's no flag, and you'll have to explain that to the coach. All right. Okay. So white hats, help me out here. are we good at this point, or is there anything else we should talk about? Can't believe it.
So the ball hasn't been kicked yet.
Ball hasn't been kicked yet. It's about to get kicked. So again, wings. Don't look into the backfield. Don't stare into the backfield. The wings, you need to watch your gunners. If you've got wide receivers that are running down the field, those are gunners. You need to be paying attention to those blocks. All right? That's your primary responsibility. Once that ball is in flight, you got to make sure your eyes are trained on those gunners. All right? Okay. Yep.
So if we have a snap that is either muffed by the punter or snapped over his head, the punter gets the ball, and when establishes he's going to kick, he still has protection, correct?
He does have protection still as a kicker, but if he starts to run with the ball,
Yeah, that's it.
okay. So if he just turns around and picks the ball up, there may be a little more latitude if somebody's going for a tackle on him, but there's got to be a little more latitude for the defense because he thinks he can be a runner at that point. Okay. Yeah.
Kind of the same thing I saw a couple times last year where we had a rugby style kicker that would run out to the right and one pretty close to the sidelines. Last second, he kicked it before he got hit. Kind of same sort of philosophy there.
Yep. Yep. On those rugby style kicks, you got to give the defense more latitude because they don't know if he's going to kick it or run it.
So if the punter carries the ball outside of what would be the zone,
Mm-hmm.
does he lose protection as a punter at all?
No, he still has protection as a kicker.
Okay.
You just have to give a little more latitude to the possibility that he might be a runner. Okay? But he still has protection as a kicker. So if he kicks the ball's gone, and he gets blown up, you got to make a determination as to whether or not that defender reasonably thought he was a runner still.
Would you look at that similar to the way you would have passed? Once the ball leaves the quarterback's hand, they can't touch you. Same with that punter, correct?
Well, if he starts to run, then there's less latitude.
Yeah.
Passer, I would say you probably don't give as much latitude on a passer as a kicker, because the kicker muffs the snap and then he picks it up, starts to run with it, and then he decides, oh crap, and he kicks it at the last second. That's different, I think. Any other thoughts on that, George? Or?
Well, a good rule of thumb is to treat a running kicker as a passer. So you can hit a passer within 1.5 steps. I'd give the same leeway to the kicker, the running kicker.
That's a good rule of thumb, because if he's not running, you can't contact that kicker at all.
Yeah. The other thing that goes away when anything goes wrong with the snap is running into the kicker. There is no running into the kicker when the snap is not perfect. It's either roughing or it's nothing.
Okay. Roughing and nothing. Yeah.
One thing to help with judgment on roughing passer or kicker is pay attention to the defender's body language. If he's going in and he's making a tackle, then you can easily judge by that body language that he thought he was a runner, or he still had the football in his hand. And if they can clearly see, oh, the ball's thrown, but I'm going to hit you anyway, and they just give him a blow, or same with the kicker, you can tell by the body language that player knew he had thrown the ball, or he had kicked it, that he hit him anyways. You can tell by the body language whether you should flag.
Good. All right, moving on. All right, so when the ball's kicked, wings get a peek at the flight of the ball. Because if the ball's angled back over your head, right, it's going out of bounds in the air, you got to sort of know that, because you're going to be the person that's going to line that kick up coming back. And we're going to get that, the referee raising his arm, and you're on the sideline and you're coming back, and they'll drop the arm as you're coming back towards where the ball crosses the line. All right? So you got to know if the ball's going over your head, but don't get up and watch like this, right? Because that ball, and you know, the ball's not going to get a personal foul against it. All right. What's going to happen is your gunner's going to get thrown to the ground by his face mask, and you get your head up like this, watching the flight of the ball. All right. So get a peek, make sure the flight of the ball is downfield, and then get right back onto your gunner. All right. Back judge is looking initially up into those blocks, and then has to transition quickly to that kick receiver. All right. That's the primary responsibility of that back judge, is looking at that punt receiver. So why does he need to pay attention to that punt receiver from very early on? What's he looking for? Fair catch, right? And most of the time it's not super obvious. It's usually going to be one of these, right? Because even though that's an invalid fair catch signal, we don't usually make them be like this to be perfect, right? So you got to see if he raises his hand. You got to know that, and he may do it early. All right, so we need to get eyes on that. And the wings are not responsible for that fair catch signal at all. Wings should not be looking at the punt receiver. They should be still looking at their gunners. All right. Okay, what else? Yeah, Nathan.
One thing I learned last year from the mechanics manual is when a punt is clearly going out of bounds in the air, it's the back judge's whistle on that. Because the wing should still be watching their blockers. A punt out of bounds, there's no concern whether the receiver's fair catch or not. But a lot of times the whistle is missed, and the ball's booted way out of bounds. And once the back judge recognizes the mechanic and says he should blow his whistle to end the play, and that ball is clearly out of bounds. And that point, then the wing takes over from our concern.
Okay, good point. And just again, if you're a wing and you see that ball, if you see the ball kicked and it's going over your head, your tendency is going to be to watch the ball and do this. That happened to me a couple years ago. Ball was shanked over my head and I went like this and I was watching the ball. And by the time I looked up, a player got thrown in front of me. I have no idea how he got there. And I was thinking, oh crap, my eyes were in the wrong spot. I should have known what happened to that guy that just got thrown in front of me, right? So really be careful not to watch the flight of the kick. If you know it's going out of bounds, keep your eyes out into the field. You're going to run beyond where you think it probably went out, and when the back judge blows the whistle, then you can stop, and then you're going to come around, dead ball officiate, make sure that there's nothing else going on. And then put your hand up and start walking back towards where the line of scrimmage. Watch your white hat. When he drops his arm, that's when you're going to stop, because he's the one that's going to come up to where the ball was kicked from, and he had a line of where the ball went out of bounds. So when you intersect where that ball went out of bounds, that's when he's going to drop his arm, and that's where you're going to stop. Are you going to stop on the 49.5-yard line? No. You're going to stop at the 50, right? If he stops you at the 49-yard line, are you going to stop at the 49? No, go to the 50, right? That exact spot isn't really critical. We want the chains in a good spot, so just go to a big line if you can. If you're right in the middle, get it on. Make sure we're on paint. But then when you get to the spot where he drops his arm and you stop, then you're going to signal first down. Going that way, right?
Is it the primary mechanic versus the back judge's whistle? Punt out of bounds. Now, if it bounces in the field of play,
Right, whoever has the sight.
In the air, out of bounds, the mechanic says that's the back judge.
Okay, so now there is a case where the white hat is watching the punter. Punter's in danger, So he's going to keep his eyes on the punter. Ball gets shanked, and he's still watching all the action around the kicker, and he doesn't know where the ball went out of bounds. All right. So if that happens, then he's gonna come up, and usually our mechanic is that the white hat will sort of raise his arm halfway. That's an indicator to you that he doesn't know where the ball went out of bounds. So stop where you think it went out of bounds. Right? Kentucky windage. Lick your fingers, stick it up, and see where the wind, which way the wind's blowing.
In that situation where the white hat has no idea, a back judge can help by just walking up to where he thinks
It possibly went out.
And maybe if he's not getting anything from the white hat, and look, if that back judge is saying, I think it's about here.
So that's actually a good point, Nathan, because if the ball gets shanked, you don't have a fair catch signal out of your receiver. No one's probably going to run down and hit your receiver, so you can kind of help with where that ball went out of bounds.
Yeah, just walk up to the line.
Okay, good. All right, next. So now, line judge is coming downfield. The head linesman, once you know the ball is going beyond and it's not going to come back, start heading downfield. We don't want you to walk. Some guys just sort of start to walk downfield like this. You know, you don't want to sprint, but you want to move downfield with purpose and keep your eyes out in the field. All right? A lot of guys are going to watch the flight of the kick. Don't watch the flight of the kick. We got film after film after film after film of wings doing this. You can see it. I mean, and everybody laughs, and I guarantee you we'll probably have film on everybody that just laughed about doing that. Me included. All right? It's really hard to not watch the flight of the ball, but you've got to train your eyes. Eye discipline. Keep your eyes where they need to be. Watch your gunners. Head linesman, you're going to be about 2 seconds behind. Start getting down. We don't want the wings going downfield more than about half the distance of the kick. All right, you should be down about half the distance of the kick. Now I'm talking 5-man mechanics. Okay, so if you have a 4-man mechanic, that line judge is playing back judge, so he's going to go all the way down, and he's sort of playing back judge, and then he's got the beanbag on the end of the kick. All right? Yeah, Kaylin.
So I want to emphasize on the line judge. You're not, I mean, this kind of depicts that you're staying with your gunner. You really should be
Because I'm recording this.
That's true.
That gunner because you have potential foul back at the line, and that's still you on the end of that line. We had one where we missed it and saw it on film. It was horrific and obvious, but we didn't catch it because we were focused on just the gunner. You have to stay back far enough that you have an angle to catch if you have potential foul on the end of that line. So they'll think you have to be directly with the gunner. You keep that angle so that you can still have that.
Yeah, if you're that fast too, you're like Nathan the Prairie fast. But so you're probably going to be trailing, but your angle's going to be more like that. The umpire should be looking through and getting this primarily. But early on, you've got stuff on that line of scrimmage right there at the tackle. Got to keep your head on a swivel. There's too much to watch in 5-man mechanics on punt plays. So you just have to keep your head kind of moving back and forth. And the last thing you want to do is watch the flight of the ball, right? Okay, so let's progress on this. So as the kick starts to go downfield, again, the wings are going to come down about half the distance of the kick. Don't go all the way down to where the kick ends. You want to stay about halfway. Keep your eyes on your gunners. Don't watch the punt receiver. The back judge has punt receiver. Back judge, don't watch the gunners. Watch your punt receiver. Okay, you're looking for kick catching interference. You're looking for fair catches. You're looking for muffs. You're looking for all that stuff, right? So don't start trying to watch blocks. If the wings are doing their job, they're watching the blocks, and you've got that kick receiver. All right? Anything else on that? Yep.
A good thing to avoid blowing your whistle on the muff is to be patient and sometimes even give a 1/1000 after the receiver catches the ball. 1/1000. Okay, he's still got it. Okay, blow your whistle.
On a fair catch. On a fair catch. Yeah. Just be patient.
Yeah, don't rush that whistle.
Most inadvertent whistles are going to be because you're trying to protect players.
Yep.
Fumbles, fair catches, that kind of stuff. Let the play happen. The play is over before you blow your whistle. Right? So just be patient with your whistle on things like this. All right? All right. So we've already talked about most of this, so we'll go ahead and move on. Okay, now as the players run by the umpire should rotate with those players and watch the players. The videos that I have, the umpire stays like this and he stays focused right here, and all these players run by him, and it's not until the play's way over that he actually turns and looks at these guys. But this is where the majority of the action is, right here. So if that umpire is looking back at these 4 players and the R is looking at these 4 players, all these guys are going down. There's no one with eyes on all these guys. All right. So that umpire, you've got to get wide and let them run by you, and as they do, turn with them and keep your eyes on them. All right. The R is going to kind of watch his kicker until he's free of foul, and then as they start to run down, then his focus needs to shift even downfield as well. So we try and get 2 sets of eyes on all those guys in the middle of the field. It's where a lot of stuff is going to happen. Okay. Okay.
Next slide.
That's good. Next slide. So again, with the umpire, you've got a lot to look at, and it's all going really fast. You just have to do the best you can. Referees looking for stragglers. Don't look down at the receiver, but you want to look downfield and look at blocks out in front of the receiver. Okay, so we don't want you looking to make sure that there wasn't a muff on that kick receiver or whatever. So if you're an R and you've ever got an opinion on kick catching interference, your eyes are in the wrong spot. Okay.
Those BSBs and holds that happen once they get past, the returner gets past the gunners, that's all in the field, and the coaches see it as bright as day, and you guys pick up those BSBs and holds.
Yeah. Okay. So, just in summary, wings, you got to keep your eyes out of the backfield. Most of the film we see those wings do this as the ball snapped. And then they watch the kick, and then their head goes up like that. Okay, we got to stop. We got to stop that. Hustle downfield, don't walk. You don't need to be sprinting downfield, but moving downfield with intent. Get about halfway down from the line of scrimmage to the end of the kick. The line judge is releasing at the snap, and the head linesman is going to remain and make sure that ball doesn't come back across that neutral zone. Okay. All right. Umpire, start deeper and wider than normal. Observe the initial action on the snapper. Make sure you don't have a roughing the snapper call. And then rotate and watch the players as they move downfield. Don't let them run by you and then 2 or 3 seconds elapse before you turn around to look. Don't look at the receiver. Don't look at the gunners. And then, like I said, just try and be wide enough so the players don't have to run around you. Referee, 5 yards wider and 5 yards deeper than the punter. Which side you go on, I think, is a preference thing. Whatever is most comfortable for you. Watch for the illegal blocks in the backfield, holdings, block below the waist, and then shift your player to anybody that's going to threaten your kicker. This is just like a pass. Again, white hat. If the ball's kicked and you look up and watch the flight of the ball, and your kicker gets blown up, that's the last thing you want to have happen. So keep your eyes on that kicker until you know that he is no longer in jeopardy. All right? Back judge, move with the receiver. Make sure you keep enough of a cushion on the receiver to where you don't get too close to the action. Keep a good cushion. Keep a good field of vision so that you can see what's going on, and then you're ruling on the validity of a fair catch signal. I don't think I've ever been in a game where someone did that and someone called an invalid fair catch. It just usually happens so quickly, it's not technically by rule a valid fair catch signal, but we're going to give him benefit of the doubt if it goes above his shoulders. What do you do, Nathan?
The way I handle it, if he gives any kind of signal and he catches it and nothing happens, I'm leaving it alone. If he gives some kind of signal that's not quite valid and now he gets contacted, I'm dropping the flag for an invalid fair catch signal.
Okay.
Otherwise, I gotta call, catch interference. And I only would call it if he gave a valid catch signal, then he's gonna get that protection.
Okay. Good. All right, so
Randy,
there's...
I'll say one more thing. You've already covered it, but the back judge on a punt is the prime place where we will have inadvertent whistles. Because of the muff, and they're trying to protect it. And if the back judge can go into that place with the mentality that my whistle does not protect that receiver, it's his signal that protects him, I think that would help the patience that Nathan talked about and you talked about. So really, if you're a back judge back there, really think that. My whistle doesn't protect, it's the signal, I need to be patient. Good. Stay away from those inadvertent whistles.
Yeah, good. I have some videos, but I have some other things I want to cover, so I'm going to do that instead. One other thing that I would say that I've found throughout my years is usually the goofy stuff happens on kick plays, and they always catch you off guard. So one thing that I always like to do when I'm involved, when I'm a wing on a punt play, is remind myself of which color jersey is on defense and which color jersey is is the kicker. Because as soon as the ball hits the ground and it touches a player, and then that starts pinballing around and all the players are coming together, you're like, oh crap, who touched the ball? Was that R or was that K? Who possessed it? Can they advance? All that stuff you're having to try and figure that out. If you've reminded yourself before, part of your pre-snap is R is in red, K is in white, or whatever you want to do to remind yourself of, which team is kicking and which team is receiving. That can help you when those weird things that ball starts to bounce around. Yeah.
That's a really good point, in that if you've got, once you track that ball and you know that it's going to be a short kick, unintentionally or whatever, the wings, and maybe even sometimes the umpire has to be able to glance to see if there's a player around that has either first touching or K touched it or R touched it earlier.
Might come down and hit them on the shoulder pads.
Absolutely, right. So just keep that in mind too. Once you find the flight of the ball, there's other things that can happen. They're not always going to be that deep. Go deep and call it good.
Good. Yeah.
Clarification for the umpire. If you're watching the snapper, if the snapper stands up and engages the defender, he's no longer a snapper. Is that correct? He's blocking. So
once he's recovered and can protect himself, then he can be contacted. Yeah.
And I think what you mean with that is because I've seen snappers try to go where they stand up and they kind of lean in to a defender to try to draw it. Yeah, I mean, umpire gotta watch for that.
All right, good. Let's move on. I'm not going to run these videos because basically the videos are watching the line judge head go like this and then like this. And then the umpire doesn't rotate. He stands and watches players like this. All the players go by him, and then eventually he does this. Oh crap! So those aren't a big deal. Okay, so I make a big deal on my crew about knowing PSK, what makes a post scrimmage kick play. There's 5 things. I mean, you can say there's 4, but there are certain situations that have to occur for a foul to be considered a post scrimmage kick enforcement. So a scrimmage kick is normally a loose ball play, right? So what's the basic spot normally on a loose ball play? You can cheat and read the slide, right? It's normally the previous spot, all right? So if it's a PSK, then that penalty enforcement spot no longer applies on that loose ball play, all right? And then PSK exceptions are an exception to the clean hands rule. Does everybody know what the clean hands rule is? Somebody tell us what the clean hands rule is. Some people may not know what that is.
Defense receives possession of the ball prior to a foul.
Without a foul.
Without a foul, prior to a foul, defense recovers possession, or can recovers possession.
You just confused me.
It's a change of possession without a penalty.
Well, that's not what the clean hands rule.
That is technically the clean hands. You want to know what makes it not clean.
What makes it not clean hands? What were you going to say, Keelan?
The foul is what determines whether it's a clean hands or not.
Right.
Prior to possession. So
Right.
if you have possession and your team fouled prior to that possession, you have dirty hands.
Right.
If your team did not foul and you have possession, then you have clean hands.
Right. So normally, R cannot take possession of the ball if they fouled before they got possession of the ball, right? So in order for R or B to keep the ball when there's a turnover, they had to have gotten the ball without fouling, all right? So PSK is an exception to the clean hands rule. During a kick play, R can foul prior to gaining possession of the ball and still keep the ball. All right? So we're going to go through what those situations are that make a PSK foul a PSK foul. All right, so number 1 has to be a foul by the defense. Okay? If K fouls, that can't be PSK. It has to be a foul by the receiving team. Okay? Number 2, the foul has to be beyond the expanded neutral zone. So if you get a block below the if you get a block below the waist, you get a holding by R right at the line of scrimmage, that's not beyond the expanded neutral zone, so that foul would not be PSK eligible. Okay? I've seen guys, in a press coverage, you got a gunner out there, gunner starts to run, grab face mask, pull down right there at the line of scrimmage. If it's not beyond that expanded neutral zone, then it's not a PSK eligible foul. Okay? Yeah.
The first one, doesn't the foul by the defense have to happen during the kick?
Well, we're going to move on, and then we're going to move on because that's another requirement. Okay. Okay. So foul is between the snap and the end of the kick. I hear this one get confused all the time. People think it has to be between the kick and the end of the kick. So they're trying to figure out, did the foul happen after he kicked the ball or before he kicked the ball? Don't worry about it, because that's not part of the rule. Once the ball snapped till the end of the kick, if are fouls, then that counts, okay? As long as it's beyond the expanded neutral zone, all right? Okay, 4th thing, the kick has to go beyond the expanded neutral zone. So if they kick the ball and it doesn't go beyond the expanded neutral zone, you don't have the possibility of PSK enforcement, all right?
And that means even if it goes 12 yards and comes back 11 yards.
If it goes beyond and comes back over, it's gone beyond. So now you can have a PSK enforcement.
Okay.
Did I say that right, George? Thank you. I thought I did. I just thought I'd confirm. All right. So the last thing, R has to be next to put the ball in play. So if there's any sort of thing that happens where R muffs the ball, K recovers, and it's K's ball, now you can no longer have PSK penalty enforcement because K would be next to put the ball in play. All right? So those are the 5 things that have to happen in order for the receiving team to keep the ball without clean hands. All right? So let's talk a little bit about what you do when there is a PSK foul. So you've got a foul that is PSK. The end of the kick is the basic spot unless the kick ends in R's end zone. All right? So, back judges, what do you take beanbags for back on scrimmage kick plays for? What are you marking? End of the kick and first touching. So the end of the kick, we want a beanbag on the end of the kick with possession, all right? So that if we have a PSK foul, we know where the kick ended. So you're dropping a beanbag where possession was gained by R. If the ball goes out of bounds, that ends the kick as well, but we don't need that, a beanbag on that, because we have a spot where the ball went out of bounds. If it goes in the end zone, we don't need a beanbag on the goal line, right? Because the goal line is where the kick ended, all right? But we need a beanbag where that ball was possessed by R, because that's where the kick is going to end, all right? Now, I said that it's this basic spot unless the kick ends in R's end zone. So where's the basic spot if the ball goes into the end zone and we have a touchback? 20-yard line, right? Because the ball would normally come out to the 20-yard line. All right, next. Okay, so now we have the possibility of the foul by R being in front of the basic spot or behind the basic spot, just like we do in any other play, right? So if the foul is beyond, and when I say beyond, I mean towards A's goal line or K's goal line, all right, then we're going to enforce from the basic spot because the foul is on R, so we're going to go back to the farthest spot that we can, which is the basic spot, the end of the kick, and we're going to go back on that penalty from there. All right? So if the foul is behind the basic spot, so the kick ended, there was a foul behind me where I caught the ball. Now we're going to enforce from the spot of the foul because it's behind the basic spot. So the same situation would occur if you had a foul inside the 20-yard line, right, on a ball that went in the end zone, because the basic spot's going to be the 20-yard line. So if the foul was outside the 20-yard line, you're going to enforce from the 20-yard line. If it was inside the 20-yard line, you're going to enforce from that spot. Make sense? Cool. I think that's it. Yeah.
Can the spot of first touching be an enforcement spot for a PSK foul?
No. Somebody tell him why you can't have the spot of first touching be the enforcement spot for a foul. It's not the end of the kick, but.
And first touching, they don't get the defense. If they foul, they don't get the right to take the spot of first touching.
Right. So if there's an accepted foul, then the first touching spot is irrelevant.
Say that again?
If there's an accepted foul, then the R's opportunity to take the ball at the spot of first touching is gone. Even if it's a foul on K, if they accept the foul, then they can't take it at the spot of first touching. So they'd have to decline the penalty to get the ball at the spot of first touching. Okay, any other questions? Cool. That's all I have for tonight. Anybody have anything else? Yes. Woo-hoo. Crew chiefs, if you want to meet with your groups, you can. We're going to have a 50-50 drawing before we close. Is that? Did you have something different, James? Oh yeah.
And the end of the season banquet is going to be November 4th at the Red Line, Doubletree. Not the Red Line, the Doubletree. Right, $45 in person.
November 4th. Put that on your calendar. No, the end of the season banquet is November 4th. Thank you, James.
And then we got 50 for 50.
Still 6 o'clock?
$28.
James, you said the Doubletree at 6 on November 4th?
6, I might change, but definitely 4. And then 50 for 50 is 559, 886.
Oh.
My quarters, man.
All right, thank you all for coming. If your crew chiefs want to meet, hang out, find a table, another round.